know that feeling, right? When you're trying to get a few people together, maybe for just a simple get-together or something a bit more involved.
Hmm.
And suddenly it just feels like you're trying to coordinate, I don't know, a global summit.
Oh, absolutely. It's something we all run into, I think, that potential for things to get really complicated, that sort of little knot of stress you get when you think about making it all work.
Yeah,
That's really what we want to unravel today and address head on.
exactly. So our mission, if you like, in this deep dive is to basically cut through all that noise.
Mm.
We want to give you the most important insights on how to schedule events well.
Like a shortcut.
Yeah, exactly. A real shortcut to understanding what works, maybe what common pitfalls to avoid, and, ultimately how to make your event planning much, much smoother and hopefully more successful too.
Right.
Think of this as your kind of express lane to becoming, well, maybe not a pro overnight, but definitely better at event scheduling.
And we're not just talking about, sticking dates in a calendar. It's more about the underlying principles that really help events come together seamlessly.
Right. So, okay, at its core, what is event scheduling?
Well, simply put, it's the process, right?
Yeah.
Figuring out the when and the where for your event
Okay.
and making sure everyone involved is kind of on the same page and, prepared.
And this isn't just for massive conferences or anything. It could be as simple as finding the best time for your, I don't know, online team meeting or setting a date for a friend's birthday bash.
Or even just coordinating your book club's next get-together.
Exactly.
And, when you do this well, the benefits really ripple outwards.
Yeah.
It's not just about the convenience of finding a time slot.
No.
It actually underpins the whole success and, frankly, the enjoyment of the event for everyone.
Absolutely. Okay, so let's kick off with organization. That seems like a big one. Proper scheduling creates like a clear roadmap, doesn't it?
Hmm. Like having a detailed itinerary for a trip. You know where you're going, when you need to be there.
Yeah.
And when you schedule effectively, you're communicating roles and responsibilities right from the very start.
Okay, so everyone knows what they're doing.
Exactly. Everyone understands what's expected of them, which, helps prevent confusion later on. Maybe duplication of effort, too.
And it's not just about who's doing what, right? It's also about getting those invitations out early
Crucial.
and actually checking if people are free. That seems key for getting a good turnout, avoiding those last minute, oh, I can't make it things.
Definitely. And setting deadlines for key tasks helps keep the whole train on the tracks,
Yeah.
gives you a clear timeline to follow.
It's like building a house, maybe. A solid schedule is the foundation.
That's a good analogy.
Okay.
And that strong foundation leads straight into another big plus, saving you precious time and effort.
Oh, for sure. Imagine trying to organize something when nobody really knows what they're supposed to do. Things get missed.
Chaos.
Yeah, and you're constantly having to improvise and put out fires. Sounds incredibly draining.
It really does. Effective scheduling stops a lot of that scrambling before it starts.
How so?
Well, by being organized,
Yeah.
having that clear plan, people can just focus on their specific tasks. They know what needs doing and by when. It just minimizes errors.
Right. Reduces the need for those panicked last-minute problem-solving sessions.
Exactly. And here's where things get, well, really useful these days. Technology can be a massive help.
You mean like scheduling software?
Precisely. Event scheduling software can automate so much of the legwork, sending invites, tracking RSVP.
Oh, ECPs, that's the please respond thing, right?
Yeah.
From French.
Exactly. Répondez s'il vous plaît. So tracking who's coming, sending out reminders so people don't just forget. It can really free up your time as the organizer.
Okay, that makes sense. Which brings us, I guess, to another critical benefit. Avoiding those dreaded scheduling conflicts.
Yes. Sounds obvious, maybe, but a double book venue or picking a time that clashes horribly for your key people that can sink an event.
Yeah, it really can. So getting those invites out early, proactively finding out when people are actually free, it's just so important.
Mm-hmm. And especially because, sources suggest there's still often a real preference for meeting face-to-face.
Right, you want to make sure people can physically be there if that's the plan.
And it's not just about people's calendars either. If you need a specific venue, proper scheduling means you lock that down. Secure your date, your time, without worrying someone else will nab it.
Right, getting those logistics sorted early.
Exactly. Locking in those essential bits early on.
Okay, so all this careful planning, organization, saving time, avoiding conflicts, it all adds up to a huge benefit, I think. Less stress.
A significant reduction in unnecessary stress.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Planning events, even, simple ones, can be surprisingly anxiety-inducing sometimes.
It's often the uncertainty, isn't it? That nagging worry, like, what if something goes wrong? What if no one shows up?
Exactly. And effective event scheduling. It acts like a
Mm.
powerful antidote to that. It brings a sense of order, a sense of control to the whole process.
Right. By taking those proactive steps, like getting early RSVPs, figuring out availability right at the start, you actually sidestep some of the biggest stress triggers.
Like wondering if anyone's coming or realizing you've double booked the meeting room.
Yeah. And just having that clear plan with assigned roles, deadlines, don't underestimate the peace of mind that brings. It really helps everyone involved breathe a bit easier.
It's about shifting from always reacting to problems to actually planning ahead, preventing them, which naturally means less stress.
Makes sense.
Now look, even with the best intentions, the most meticulous plan, challenges can still pop up when you're scheduling events.
Oh, that's so true. Nothing's ever completely foolproof. One of the perennial challenges is getting perfect attendance, right?
Hmm.
Unless it's maybe a small team meeting where everyone has to be there, trying to find one time that works flawlessly for every single person. It can feel impossible sometimes.
It often is, yeah. And this is where the right tools can be, well, incredibly helpful.
Like those scheduling apps again.
Exactly. Tools like When Available was mentioned in our sources. They let you propose multiple date and time options.
Ah.
And then your potential attendees can just vote on which ones work best for them.
Yeah.
It's kind of a democratic way to find the most agreeable slot for, the majority.
That's actually really smart. Takes the guesswork out of it a bit.
Mm-hmm.
And speaking of things not always going to plan,
Mm-hmm.
another key challenge is just that unexpected stuff happens. It's almost inevitable.
Absolutely. Could be anything. A sudden downpour for an outdoor event, a tech glitch in a virtual meeting,
Mm.
things beyond your control.
So what do you do?
Well, the key isn't trying to predict every single possibility, because you can't. It's more about building in some flexibility, having backup plans ready.
Okay.
Cultivating that adaptable mindset is just crucial for navigating those bumps in the road and keeping things moving as smoothly as possible.
So being ready to pivot if you need to.
Exactly. And for anyone organizing virtual events, especially with people scattered all over the globe, you face a particularly tricky challenge, coordinating across time zones.
Oh, yeah, that sounds like a headache.
It definitely adds a layer of complexity. I mean, virtual events are great, no travel needed, but finding one time that's convenient across, say, 3 or 4 different time zones,
The window must be tiny.
it often is. You're working with a very limited set of suitable hours. And someone, maybe everyone, might have to compromise a bit on the timing.
Right. So again, those polling tools sound useful here. Offer a few different time options.
Incredibly valuable. It helps you pinpoint the best possible compromise, the one that works for the largest number of people.
Even if it means some folks have to dial in a bit earlier or later than they'd ideally like.
Precisely. It's about finding that sweet spot.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's maybe get down to the practicalities now. How do you actually do this? How do you schedule an event effectively? What are the steps?
Okay, yeah, the how-to. Our source breaks it down into 5 pretty manageable steps, which seems helpful. Step 1, make a list of activities.
Sounds basic, but it's fundamental. You need to clearly define what's actually going to happen during the event.
And what you want to achieve, right?
Exactly. What's the goal? This list of activities then informs pretty much all your other planning decisions.
And it's not just jotting them down, is it? It says putting them in chronological order is really helpful.
Yes, absolutely. Putting them in the order you expect them to happen gives you a much clearer picture of the event's flow, makes it way easier to communicate later, too.
Okay, got the list. It's in order. What's next? Step 2.
Step 2 is determine the event duration. Roughly how long will the whole thing take?
Ah, okay. So assigning time estimates to each activity on the list.
Like, okay, welcome takes 10 minutes, main presentation is 30, Q&A maybe 15, like that.
Right. And then, crucially, adding buffer time.
Yes. You have to factor in some buffer time for breaks, for transitions, for those little unexpected delays.
Like that Q&A session running longer than you thought.
Exactly. That buffer time is absolutely key. Things almost never run precisely to plan. Having that extra wiggle room prevents one delay throwing the whole schedule off.
Okay, good point. Step 3 then is picking the venue, the date, and the specific time.
And this is a big one. As our source notes, mentioning findings from, I think it was American Express report, the venue and location, they can seriously impact the attendee experience.
So, not a decision to take lightly.
Not at all. Your venue choice depends heavily on, well, several things. The type of event, obviously,
Yeah.
the specific activities you've planned, and, of course, how many people you expect.
Right. A small book club meeting needs something very different from, say, a baby shower with games and lots of guests.
Totally different requirements. And crucially, before you actually book that venue and lock in the date,
Check with people first.
yes, go back to your potential attendees,
Mm.
check their availability, propose a few different date and time options, get their feedback. It's the best way to maximize attendance.
Makes sense. Make it collaborative.
Exactly. Which leads nicely into step 4, send invites and assign roles.
Okay, so once you've got a date and time that seems to work for most people, then send the official invitations.
That's right. And again, this is where those scheduling tools come in super handy. Many let attendees RSVP directly through the invite, makes tracking so much easier.
And what about roles?
Well, if there are specific tasks or activities people need to prepare for or do during the event, make sure you communicate that clearly.
In the invitation itself,
Oh,
or
or
separately?
could be either. Maybe in the invite, or perhaps a follow-up email. For larger events with more complex roles, you might definitely send separate emails detailing responsibilities, deadlines, all that.
Clear communication is key.
Absolutely essential. Okay, final step, number 5. It's easy to overlook, but really important. Send event reminders.
Ah, yes, because people forget things.
People lead busy lives. Even if they RSVP yes enthusiastically, the event can just slip their mind as the date gets closer. Gentle reminders are really crucial for ensuring people actually show up.
And maybe send more than one.
Generally a good idea, yeah. Maybe one a week before, one a day or two before, something like that.
And if there were pre-event tasks, remind them about those too.
Definitely helpful. Send a specific reminder for those. Just, be careful not to overdo it. You don't want to spam people.
Right.
Usually 1 or 2 well-timed reminders is plenty.
Yeah.
And as we've said, scheduling software can often automate this whole reminder thing for you.
Takes another job off your plate.
Exactly. Takes a big administrative chunk off the organizer's shoulders. Okay, so we've walked through the steps. Maybe we should cover some broader tips for making this all work effectively.
Yeah, good idea. Tips for effective scheduling. What's first?
First up, start planning as early as you possibly can.
Seems like common sense, but maybe easier said than done.
It can be, but sources really stress this based on experience. The earlier you start planning, the smoother things generally go, especially for booking venues and getting those first invites out.
Right. Gives you more options, less chance of conflicts, or last-minute rushing around.
Precisely. Second tip, always allocate enough time for each activity on your agenda.
We touched on this with buffer time, didn't we?
We did, but it's worth hitting again. What looks fine on paper often takes longer in reality.
Mm-hmm.
Always try to build in that extra wiggle room. That Q&A example is perfect. You really don't want to cut off a good discussion because you ran out of scheduled time.
No, that would be awkward. Better to finish a bit early than feel rushed.
Almost always, yes. Okay, third key tip. Be flexible with your planning and always have a backup plan.
Because things will go wrong sometimes.
It's almost a guarantee at some point. So having a plan B, or even just like a list of simple activities you can do with no prep if needed,
Yeah.
that could be a lifesaver.
And being willing to adjust the schedule on the fly if there's a delay.
That's a really valuable skill for any organizer. Adaptability is crucial.
Okay. Fourth tip. I think I know this one. Use scheduling software.
You got it. Seriously, consider using a good event scheduling software solution.
They really can simplify the whole thing, can't they? Save time, save effort.
Help check availability, avoid conflicts, automate reminders. They just take away so much of the manual grunt work.
And reduce the chance of human error too, I guess.
Definitely. Okay, final tip, number 5. This is one that often gets missed, I think, but it's so valuable for next time. Always ask for feedback after the event.
Even if you think it went perfectly.
Especially then, maybe. Getting feedback from your attendees, even just a few comments, can help you spot things you could maybe tweak or improve for future events. It's all about the continuous learning.
Okay, how do you collect that feedback?
Loads of ways. Simple online surveys you email out afterwards for virtual events, or maybe QR codes at a physical event linking to a form,
Yeah.
or honestly just having informal chats with people as they leave.
Every little bit helps.
Exactly. Every piece of feedback can be valuable.
Okay, so as we kind of wrap up this deep dive, it seems pretty clear effective event scheduling is just fundamental.
It really is for running organized, efficient, and ultimately successful events. Doesn't matter if it's big or small.
It's the foundation that holds everything else up.
By really focusing on staying organized, saving that time and effort, proactively heading off conflicts, and just minimizing your own stress.
Yeah.
You're setting yourself up for a much better experience.
Both for you as the organizer and for everyone who actually attends.
Absolutely.
So as you think about your next event, whether it's that small get-together or something bigger, maybe take a moment. Consider how implementing even just one or two of these strategies could genuinely transform that planning process for you.
Yeah, maybe it's finally time to check out some of those scheduling tools we mentioned.
Could be a real game changer.
Yeah.
Well, thanks for diving deep with us today.